What if the thoughts you battle in silence are not the truth about you? What if the voice that keeps telling you that you are behind, forgotten, unimportant, or unloved is not the voice of God at all, but only the echo of your fear? What if today you could hear something different, something steady, something unshaken, something that says you are more known and more loved than you could ever imagine? There was a person who walked through life feeling invisible, surrounded by people yet somehow unseen, appreciated on the surface yet deeply unsure inside. They smiled in conversations, showed up for responsibilities, handled expectations, carried burdens, but when the day ended and the noise faded, they felt small. They wondered if anyone truly understood the weight they were carrying. They wondered if God saw the private tears, the hidden disappointments, the quiet prayers whispered into the darkness. They believed in God, but sometimes belief felt distant, sometimes faith felt thin, sometimes love felt abstract, and that is where many people stand today, functioning on the outside yet questioning on the inside, asking silently, does God really know me? Does he really care about the details? Does he see what no one else sees? What they did not realize is that being known by God is not the same as being noticed by people. People see performance, God sees heart. People see outcomes, God sees process. People see moments, God sees the entire story from beginning to end. And the love of God is not shallow. It is not based on how productive you were this week. It is not dependent on how perfect your behavior has been. It is not measured by how strong your faith felt yesterday. His love is steady, constant, and personal. Imagine a craftsman shaping something delicate. He does not rush. He does not discard the piece when it looks unfinished. He studies it. He understands its structure. He knows exactly where to apply pressure and where to be gentle, because he sees the final design long before anyone else does. In the same way, God sees you not only as you are now, but as you are becoming. He sees the strengths you have not yet discovered, the resilience you have not yet needed, the courage you have not yet used fully. He sees the chapters you have not yet lived. And still he loves you completely. In this chapter, sometimes we measure love by attention. If someone calls us often, we feel valued. If someone praises us publicly, we feel appreciated. If someone remembers small details, we feel seen. But divine love goes deeper than human attention. It is not loud to prove itself. It is not dramatic to feel real. It is consistent even when you feel inconsistent. It is present even when you feel distant. There was a night when that person felt especially overwhelmed. Responsibilities felt heavy, expectations felt endless, and mistakes from the past replayed loudly in their mind. They sat quietly, wondering if they had disappointed God, wondering if they had somehow stepped outside of grace. And in that silence they sensed something subtle, not a booming voice, not a dramatic sign, but a gentle reminder that love is not fragile, that grace is not easily withdrawn, that being known by God includes being known at your worst and still being loved at your core. That realization changed something. They began to understand that God does not love an edited version of them. He loves the real version, the tired version, the confused version, the hopeful version, the struggling version. And that kind of love is rare in a world that often demands performance before acceptance. We live in a culture that measures worth by achievement, how much you earn, how many people follow you, how successful you appear, how flawless your image looks. But heaven does not calculate your value that way. Your value was not decided by your last success or your last failure. It was not increased by applause, and it was not decreased by criticism. It was established by the simple fact that you were created intentionally, with purpose woven into your existence. You are not an accident. You are not random. You are not overlooked even when you feel hidden. Being known by God means your fears are understood, your insecurities are familiar, your silent battles are seen, your unspoken dreams are recognized. You never have to explain yourself to him, because nothing about you is a surprise. And that truth can be both humbling and comforting. Humbling because it reminds you that you cannot pretend, comforting because it assures you that you do not have to pretend. Sometimes we distance ourselves from love because we believe we are unworthy of it. We remember our mistakes, we replay our regrets, we highlight our shortcomings, and we assume that divine love must be disappointed. But the nature of God's love is not like human love. It does not fluctuate with mood. It does not shrink under pressure. It does not disappear when challenged. It remains and it restores. There will be seasons where you feel strong in faith, where prayer feels natural, where hope feels alive, and there will be seasons where you feel dry, distracted, uncertain, and still you are known and loved the same, because love from God is rooted in his character, not your consistency. Think about the times you felt alone in a crowded room, when you felt misunderstood in conversations, when you felt like no one truly grasped the Depth of your emotions in those moments. It is easy to assume isolation, but isolation is not the same as abandonment. You may be misunderstood by people yet fully understood by God. You may be underestimated by others yet fully valued by Him, and that awareness can anchor you when opinions shift, when relationships change, when recognition fades, because being known by God means your identity is not fragile, it is secure. There was a gradual transformation in that person's life, not because circumstances changed immediately, but because perspective shifted. They began to wake up with a different awareness. Instead of asking who will validate me today, they asked, how can I walk confidently knowing I am already seen? Instead of chasing approval, they practiced resting in acceptance instead of striving for constant reassurance. They leaned into quiet trust, and over time anxiety loosened its grip, not completely, not perfectly, but noticeably, because confidence rooted in divine love grows slowly yet steadily. You are more known than you imagine. Every detail of your story matters. Every tear counts. Every effort is observed. Every moment of perseverance is acknowledged, even when no one applauds you. Heaven is not indifferent, and you are more loved than you imagine, not because you earned it, but because love is who God is. And when you truly begin to believe that, something shifts inside you. Comparison loses power, fear loses volume, shame loses authority, because love reframes your identity. It reminds you that you are not defined by your lowest moment. You are not trapped by your past. You are not limited by your current struggle. You are becoming. And becoming takes time. Sometimes the loudest battles happen in your thoughts. Doubts whisper that you are behind. Insecurity whispers that you are not enough. Regret whispers that you missed your chance. But truth speaks differently. Truth says growth is not linear. Truth says purpose is not rushed. Truth says timing is not random, and love is not conditional. When you understand that you are deeply known, you stop hiding parts of yourself. When you understand that you are deeply loved, you stop punishing yourself endlessly for past mistakes. You begin to walk lighter, not because life is easy, but because your worth is not constantly on trial. Imagine carrying a heavy backpack filled with stones labeled fear, shame, comparison, failure. Now imagine slowly removing each stone as you realize that your identity is secure, that your value is stable, that your love is constant. The weight decreases, not overnight but intentionally, and you begin to move forward with strength that is not based on circumstances but on assurance. Assurance that you are not forgotten. Assurance that you are not invisible. Assurance that your life has meaning beyond what you currently see. The world may not always recognize your effort. People may not always understand your journey, but you are fully known by the one who created you, and fully loved by the one who sustains you, and that is enough to keep moving, enough to keep hoping, enough to keep trusting. So if today you feel small, remember you are seen. If today you feel uncertain, remember you are understood. If today you feel unworthy, remember you are loved beyond measurement, and this love does not expire, it does not weaken, it does not withdraw, it remains steady through every season, through every question, through every stage of becoming. You are more known and more loved than you could ever imagine, and that truth can carry you further than fear ever could.